When American soldiers were stationed across Britain during the Second World War, many of them discovered something they'd never encountered back home. Small, nimble, open-top sports cars that handled unlike anything Detroit was building at the time. GIS returning from wartime Britain brought back strange little cars that weren't necessarily faster than an ordinary American sedan, but could out-handle absolutely everything else on the road. A quality that felt genuinely revolutionary to men used to heavier, softer American machinery. That fascination didn't fade when the war ended. American soldiers had genuinely fallen in love with British sports cars during their time stationed in England, and that affection traveled home with them, one shipping container at a time, often at real personal expense and effort. For many of these young men, arranging to ship a car across the Atlantic was no small task, requiring paperwork, patience, and a genuine passion that went far beyond simple curiosity. Let's count down 10 British cars that owe a huge part of their American popularity to the servicemen who first fell for them overseas. Number 10. The MGT-A and TB. Before the war even ended, American servicemen stationed in Britain were already being introduced to MG's charming, upright little sports cars. The pre-war MGT-A and TB were the models these soldiers likely encountered first. Small, open two-seaters with a distinctly British character that felt completely unlike anything available in America at the time, from their upright chrome grilles to their narrow wire wheels. These early models effectively planted the seed for everything that followed, introducing an entire generation of American servicemen to a completely different philosophy of what a sports car could feel like, one built around lightness and agility rather than raw horsepower alone. Number 9. The Riley RM series. While less common among returning American servicemen than MG, the Riley RM series still found its way into American hands during this same post-war period, admired for its combination of genuine performance and distinctly British saloon car elegance that set it apart from more utilitarian wartime vehicles. Soldiers who had spent time around British officers and civilians during their deployment sometimes encountered these more refined machines, adding another flavor to the growing American appetite for anything built across the Atlantic, even if the Riley never achieved quite the same level of recognition as its smaller, sportier rivals. Number 8. The Sunbeam Talbot. American servicemen stationed near British coastal towns and airfields often encountered Sunbeam Talbot models being driven by local officers and officials, admired for their smooth, confident road manners compared to the utilitarian military vehicles most soldiers were accustomed to operating during their service. While never as widely imported as MG, the Sunbeam Talbot represented another small but meaningful thread in the growing American fascination with British automotive engineering during this formative post-war period, quietly building its own small but loyal following among returning enthusiasts. Number 7. The AC Ace. As American interest in British sports cars grew throughout the following years, small specialist manufacturers like AC found a genuinely receptive audience among returning veterans who were now actively seeking out lightweight, engaging sports cars beyond the models they'd first encountered overseas during their service. The AC Ace's combination of simple, lightweight construction and genuine handling ability appealed directly to this same audience. Veterans who now understood exactly what made these small British sports cars so special, even years after leaving England behind and settling back into ordinary civilian life. Number 6. The Morgan Few. British sports cars retained quite as much old-world charm as Morgan, whose traditional construction methods and classic styling appealed strongly to American enthusiasts who had first discovered British motoring culture during their wartime service overseas, often in the English countryside near their bases. Even as American tastes evolved throughout the following decades, Morgan's stubborn commitment to traditional engineering, including its wooden chassis framework, kept a small but genuinely devoted following among veterans and their families. many of whom passed their appreciation for the marque down through subsequent generations of enthusiasts. Number 5. The Austin-Healey 100. By the early 1950s, American demand for British sports cars had grown substantially beyond its original wartime origins, and the Austin-Healey 100 arrived at exactly the right moment to capitalize on that appetite. Its combination of genuine performance and eye-catching styling made it an instant favorite among American buyers, who now had disposable income to spend on something more exciting than an ordinary family sedan sitting in the driveway. Many of the earliest American Austin-Healey owners were veterans themselves, drawn back to the same essential driving experience that had first captured their attention while stationed overseas years earlier, now able to finally afford the kind of car they'd only dreamed about during their service. Number 4. The Triumph TR2. The Triumph TR2 arrived in America, riding the exact same wave of enthusiasm that MG had first created, offering American buyers a slightly more affordable alternative that still delivered genuinely engaging performance and confident handling on both open highways and winding back roads. Many returning veterans who couldn't afford or locate an original MG turned to Triumph instead, helping cement British sports cars generally, not just one specific marque, as a genuine and lasting category within the American automotive market, one that would continue growing steadily throughout the following decades. Number 3. The MGTD. As demand for MG's charming sports cars continued growing throughout America, the company introduced the MGTD specifically to meet rising expectations, adding modest but meaningful improvements over the original TC, while retaining the same fundamental character that had first won over American servicemen years earlier. The TD became a genuine bridge between the raw, stripped-down originals that soldiers first encountered overseas and the more refined sports cars that would eventually follow throughout the following decade, helping smooth the transition for an increasingly demanding American customer base. Number 2. The Jaguar XK120. Introduced in 1948, the Jaguar XK120 arrived with a top speed of 120 miles per hour, making it the fastest production car in the entire world at the time of its launch, an achievement that stunned automotive journalists and enthusiasts alike on both sides of the Atlantic. For American veterans who had first fallen in love with modest, underpowered MGs during their time overseas, the XK120 represented something considerably more thrilling. Genuine outright performance wrapped in stunning, sculpted bodywork, unlike anything else on the road at the time. Its arrival helped transform America's perception of British sports cars entirely, proving these machines could deliver genuine speed and drama, not just charming handling and character alone, elevating the entire category in the eyes of increasingly sophisticated American buyers. Number 1. The MGTC. At the top of our list sits the single car most directly responsible for launching America's lasting love affair with British sports cars. American soldiers returning from Britain after World War II brought MGs home with them, and the cars quickly caught on among American enthusiasts eager for something completely different from anything Detroit was producing at the time. MG made the TC the very first model officially exported to the United States, directly as a result of American soldiers developing genuine interest in the car during their wartime stay in Britain. Though slow by modern standards, the TC is arguably the single most important car in this entire story, effectively starting American sports car culture from scratch, almost single-handedly. Returning GIs brought them home. Enthusiasts in California began racing them competitively on makeshift circuits, and an entire generation of American drivers discovered what a genuinely lightweight, tossable sports car actually felt like behind the wheel for the very first time. Returning American troops brought these small, two-seat sports cars home from Europe, initially concentrated in wealthy enclaves like California and New York, before American dealers began actively importing Jaguars, Porsches, and MGs to meet the rapidly growing demand these returning veterans had created almost single-handedly through word of mouth alone. Without the MGTC and the soldiers who first fell for it thousands of miles from home, the entire American sports car market, as we understand it today, might never have existed in quite the same way it eventually did. What connects every car on this list isn't simply engineering excellence or clever marketing campaigns dreamed up by manufacturers eager to expand overseas. It's the genuine personal experience of thousands of American servicemen who discovered something unexpected while stationed far from home. A completely different way of thinking about what driving could feel like. One that stayed with them long after they'd returned to ordinary civilian life. These soldiers didn't just bring cars back across the Atlantic, they brought back an entirely new appreciation for lightweight, engaging, distinctly British motoring. One that would go on to shape American automotive culture for decades to come, long after the uniforms had been packed away and civilian life had fully resumed for an entire generation of returning veterans.